Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching these videos. So this is the review from yesterday's meetings. June 8th, Committee of the Whole meeting was first at 1 o'clock. We had one delegation from 100 Women Who Care, the Foothills chapter. They just came not asking for any money or anything. That's not how they operate. But Terry and Candace came and gave a big presentation on it. You can watch it on the YouTube channel and you can see their whole presentation to learn what they're all about. But basically they are an organization that takes donations from their members, etc., and gives them back to the community. So fantastic, and I won't go into it because we got a lot to get through here, but watch it on YouTube if you want to learn more about 100 Women Who Care in the Foothills chapter and whether you are interested in becoming a member with them. So next one we had was the Northeast ASP, and that's the whole area out on 112th Street. The ASP that we've been doing for a year or so now. This was just Sarah from our planning department came and showed us where the couple of options as to where how a new service road would work and where it should be and where it shouldn't be. And council we gave Sarah our preferred option, which was option 1, which puts another service road just off of Highway 2 along the east end of all those properties that are along 112th. So they would still have the 112th Street. We'd still have that one going through and out to 498. But there would also be the secondary service road, which the heavier truck traffic would access. Also gives them an opportunity, landowners an opportunity to have their residents on the west side of their property, and they can have their businesses and their business access on the east side of the property. So that's why we felt it was a good option. The other option was just to realign 112th a little bit and do it that way, but it doesn't give the flexibility to the landowner. So Sarah will be going back. I saw that she emailed the landowners this morning with the same thing, getting their feedback, so we'll continue to grind that one out. Aquatics update, Kaylee came and gave us an update on where we're at with the pool. The new pool, they're just fixing, and there's always deficiencies and not much tile work, and I tell you what, there is an enormous amount of tile work in this project. So there's always deficiencies, and they're going through and getting those done before we open in September. The locker rooms, all that stuff's being polished up and finished up on the new section. The old pool, that is where I've mentioned a couple of times before that we are investigating the rafters, and we have to look at when we want to get those cleaned up and repainted and everything, so everything matches all fresh and clean. That those old rafters, they do have a lead-based primer on there, and we've got to be real careful that that's not flaking off and causing problems for our users. We absolutely do not want that. So the abatement, the investigators were up there looking at it last week. There is going to be some abatement that's necessary. Of course, that age of a pool, that age of rafters, there's going to be something. We don't know exactly what our options are as to how extensive that's going to look right now, but the one piece that I want to assure everybody is we will not open this facility unless it's done properly and done safely. So we're going to make darn sure that this is done right. So we'll wait. Council's waiting to hear back as to what our options are, and we'll go forward from there. The next one, Jocelyn came and talked about Investigator Calgary. This is a pilot project that's working on ECDEV with Calgary and the surrounding region that we are a part of. And at this point in time, our investment in this pilot project is $6,400 for 3 years, not each year, $6,400 for the 3-year pilot project, because we're the smallest community involved. So we're watching how this is going. It's administration that's a part of this, and they'll be giving feedback to us as to kind of where they're going. I did receive an Investigator Calgary presentation at the last regional table meeting that I was at last week in Cochrane. I'm sitting on the fence waiting for more information as to where is this going to be beneficial to High River when they start asking for more money after this pilot project's done. So it's kind of a wait and see. We're checking out how it's going to go and where where's the benefit to High River, because normally with these big regional things, as we experienced with CMRB, that the main focus is that Calgary, Airdrie, Cochrane, sometimes Chestermere, but that Calgary, Airdrie, Cochrane area is the primary focus for a lot of this stuff. So we just want to see that if we're going to continue this after the pilot project's done, that there's value to High River. And if there's not, well, maybe we need to do something a little bit more. I am working with and talking with Mayor Thorne and Okotoks and Reeves Seward with Foothills County as to having our own little regional ECDEV thing, and Nanton, Mayor Handley is involved with that as well. So, as well as Brendan out at Diamond Valley. We're going for breakfast in another week or so to discuss this a little bit more. So, just to see what a regional kind of collaboration would look like around in this area. So there's a lot going on with that kind of stuff. So snow and ice control policy. David Kennedy was here to give us a little overview of how last year went, and total of 154 centimeters of snow. They follow the road priority system, and they, as far as the roads, and I always get feedback, why isn't my road done? I had a heck of a conversation with a lady this winter who, and I'll be clear about it, she wanted her street cleared and the snow to be cleared out of her cul-de-sac every single time it snowed. And I said, well, is this just for you? Or would it be town-wide? She said, well, I'm not a selfish person. I think it should be done town-wide. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about what that looks like, is to have the manpower and the equipment to clear the snow on all streets, all the time, every time. The expense would be absolutely astronomical. I don't think any of us want to know what that number would look like, but we live in Canada, we have to deal with this stuff, and we get Chinooks, and then it melts a little bit and then it freezes, and so we're always battling, and our crews are always battling ice here and there. But for the most part, I think we do a great job. It's never perfect. It's impossible. It's a bit of a monster, this snow clearing every winter. But I know a lot of people think they've got all the answers and the silver bullet to make it all better, but I can guarantee you, it might be better for your street, but it'll be whatever we do on one, we got to do on others. So these guys stick to the priority system on our emergency roads and bus routes, etc., for the kids in the schools. And you can see all of that's available on the website as to what the priority routes look like. But we got a lot of good feedback, and on our Happy Trail changes, where a couple of years ago we said that we wanted the Happy Trails cleared right away after snow falls, and David and Nicole and the ops crew did a great job last year, even just getting one pass done around all the Happy Trails so that we've got access to them. If it snows Friday night, to wait till Monday to clear those off is not, we didn't like that. Cost money to do it better, so we chose to do it better, and that's why we do one pass over the weekend or any other day that it snows, just so that our community has access to using Happy Trail system. So that was that. He also gave a little update to the future maintenance scope of work, and there's going to be RFPs going out for the downtown snow clearing. So if there's any companies that are interested in bidding on that, it will be on Alberta Purchasing Connection. That's just following our standard procurement process. There's a few questions from council, nothing too serious. More talk about the weekend clearing of Happy Trails, etc., etc. At the end of it, Chief Steve DBN from the fire department came and gave a debrief about our, the rising spring melt off and the rain we had there a week or so ago. We had fantastic feedback of the communication that went out and the detail that Steve and his crew and our comms crew, thanks Michelle, did in keeping our residents informed. I didn't even feel this year that I had to jump on with my own Facebook posts at all. Everything was 100% taken care of very well and gave continuity to people. One thing that I did notice that was not surprising to me, but I hadn't really thought about it before, is the number of new people that are in High River now that were not here for 2013 and didn't go through that experience. And it's interesting, if you're new to High River, you don't really understand when you're driving over Center Street Bridge. I had one person ask me, well, is this how much it flooded in 2013? And I'm like, no. It's like 10 times what you're looking at right now. So we peaked out at, I think, 185 CMS, where 2013 was 1,850. So new people to town, the river had an enormous long way to go to have any dangerous impact to us. We are protected, the whole town is protected to the level of 1,830 CMS plus one, we built an extra meter of protection when we did all the mitigation. So we're protected in around 3,000 CMS. So at 185, our crews are keeping an eye on things because the river changes and the bank levels change, and there can be overland flooding in little areas, like they closed down the Wallaceville Beechwood area, things like that, just to keep people safe in some of those areas. But there was never any danger to anybody's homes or infrastructure at all. Even the golf course wasn't under danger. But there's a whole berm system on the south end that you can really see along the park. It's very noticeable. But there's also the same berm system as on the north end of the river. It's just not as noticeable, and I did get feedback that one guy was asking somebody that they only bermed this to protect the south end of High River, which is completely false. There is, if you're a golfer, you know it, but there's a whole berm system that winds its way through the golf course, and there's a whole berm system in the northwest all along the river that protects the whole northwest area as well. So there's lots of information on our mitigation works on the Town of High River website. You can quickly go and have a look. The maps are there as to what happened in 2013 and what mitigation looks like now. So it was interesting to me that I get it. Not everybody that's here today was here in 2013. So if you're interested in it, then you can find the information on the website. Q&A with council was pretty minimal. Councillor McGonigal brought up 3rd Ave and 3rd Ave and 3rd Street, just east of downtown. There's a crossing there that's got quite a dip in it. In High River, we always have a tough time with drainage because we're so flat that it's hard to get water to drain. So that's why some of the intersections have those dips in them. But she's concerned about pedestrians and the kids walking out blindly and everything else. So we put it back to administration to have a look at what our options would be to improve safety at that intersection. We haven't had any incidents. I'm sure there's been some close calls and near misses, but we also don't want to wait until there is an incident and then act. So we're looking at it now to make sure that we're keeping that intersection safe. Going into the regular council meeting, first item on the agenda was, I'll mention we did have a delegation from the High River Ratepayers group, led by Carol McMillan, John Turner, and Steve, I can't remember your last name, I think it was Steve, and Julia Benton, that came and started to present things, but they had specific asks that they wanted us to vote right there and then, and are you going to do this? And that's just not how council works. That's not how council should work in any way, shape, or form. So we asked the delegation to present their information, which they did. They've given it to us. We will go back, and the next meeting, council will deliberate the information that we gave, and then council will decide the direction on which, if there's changes to some of our processes that we need to make, which I agree there is. We can always improve on things, and it's all good, and maybe there's stuff that we don't want to do. So next meeting we'll go through that delegation's presentation and some of the information. We'll talk about it. The next piece of business was just some housekeeping stuff that Jody Hipkin brought to us, and this is provincial government changes to how the freedom of information is handled, and it's basically, this was just, it's legislated by the province. We don't have any choice but to do this. It's been an enormous amount of work, part of a red tape reduction program, I'm sure. But to move from the FOIP system to what they call an ATIP system. So you can, I'm not gonna go through it all, you can watch it on YouTube. It's quite an extensive thing, but basically a housekeeping thing to keep up with government legislation that we have to move to this new program for how we share information and how the public can access information. Same with the privacy management program. This piggybacks on the other one. Same thing, it's a housekeeping item that's legislated by the provincial government that we have to just keep up with. So we approved that one as well. Then Jocelyn took us through the community art policy and some updates with that. And these are updates that we found over the years, especially now that we're doing these, the tree art programs, etc. And you know, how we have to watch what might be construed or thought of as offensive to one person is not to another person, and how that goes. And in my mind, those pieces always come back to council, and the council of the day decides on the final design of any community art. So they also talked about the copyrights and the copyright releases as to how the art's being, you know, taking pictures of it and posting it, et cetera, et cetera. So all those updates were made into the community art policy. If you're interested, you can watch the video. Same with the film production policy. There again, our previous thing was we wanted film requests in town to be 45 days just to give us enough time to kind of wrangle things. But what we found is that we can do it much quicker than that. So Jocelyn's recommended we change to 7 days, minimum of 7 days in advance. Because some of these folks, they come in and they gotta go fast. They don't have a month and a half to kind of schedule things. So we made that change. And Councillor Nychuk asked if the 7 days was enough, and Jocelyn said, yeah, they can support that timeline 100%. Again, some of the film companies, when they're filming downtown and they're filming the murals, because it's somebody else's artwork, and how the copyrights using them in their films, you know, how does that all work? It gets a little complicated. So policy deals with some of that stuff too. So. And then Shelley and Kaylee came from FCSS and talked about their request for us to lobby the government for changes to the changes the government made to their AISH program, which has honestly been, what I've heard over the last couple of years, absolutely devastating for some of our people that need this assistance the most. And the changes that this government has made and taking money away from AISH recipients is honestly absolutely horrible. So Shelley and Kaylee gave a very long overview of that. Please watch it if you're interested, but council agreed to help them lobby the government for some of these changes to get back to a system that's fair and equitable and that works. So other than that, there's one little motion for one of us to speak at the Canadian Grand Masters Fiddle Competition that's going to be happening in High River. If you're a fan of bluegrass music like I am, if you're a fan of fiddling of any kind, the old fiddle tunes and everything, that's happening on August 29th, 2026. So keep that in your calendars, and there'll be more information that comes out in the future on that. So that's what we got. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.